On the MPC meetings, for those who are not familiar with the Chinese system of government, this is a very important event in the beginning of May, where the entire MPC gets together for 1 week to 10 days, and the big wigs all present work reports, so-called work reports, to the legislature. The most important speech is the one by the Prime Minister, Li Keqiang. I read his speech, and I also read the speeches by the finance minister and the head of the NDRC. All three of the speeches, to me, conveyed a sense of confidence that they are in control of the situation, aware of the enormous difficulty that the economic slowdown is presenting to them, the probability that the slowdown will in fact continue. Li Keqiang and the other speeches set a 7% growth target for GDP for this year, 2015. That surprised me a little bit. I had, in fact, hoped that they would stay away from setting a growth target because that can become a bit of a trap. If they fall below it, they may be tempted to do the dangerous things, such as opening the credit taps again, which, of course, they shouldn't do and haven't done so far. By and large, I'm encouraged by the nature, the realism expressed in this and the confidence. A lot of emphasis on the need for further fiscal reforms. Lo Jiwei spoke at length about the shortfalls in the financing of the national pension system, and he is proposing to fill those shortfalls not by additional taxes, but by transferring SOE assets to the National Pension Fund. All three speeches made a lot of hay of President Xi Jinping's Silk Road plans, and maybe we have a chance to talk about that later because that's emerging as a very important national objective. But broadly, slower growth, still a target, 7%, which Li Keqiang admitted might be difficult to meet. And so he phrased it about 7%. But I'm not discouraged by that because there was no hint that the leadership is thinking about senseless opening of the credit taps as they used to do in the past. Let me leave it at that, Malcolm.
I mean, I think most people think it's pretty in line with the expectation. There's no surprise out of it. So the GDP target is set to be about around the 7.0% compared to last year's target of around the 7.5%, actual growth of 7.4%. And they said a CPI target now this year is 3%. Slightly lower than 3.5% last year, and the M2 target is set about 12%, and that's a soft target, meaning like the actual number always comes out slightly different than the target versus GDP is almost like always the same, and the fiscal deficit now is set at 2.3%, up from 2.1% in 2014. It's flat to slight up, and so people think the other two targets, which are retail sales target of 13% this year, and the fixed asset investment target of 15% this year, are kind of optimistic. So other than those two targets, I think most people think the sort of the tone and the guidance out of the conference, the Congress, are pretty much in line with the previous expectation.